go for it.
Hey there, everyone. We'll just give it a few, well, just a minute or so longer just to let other people join. Obviously, it is start time, but looking forward to this webinar. So let's just give it a 30 seconds or so, and then we'll kick it off. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I'm very happy to have another one of these webinars by Josh and the team at Capitalise, talking us through you know, new ways or ways to improve our trading on the Capitalise platform. I want to thank you for being members of ErisX, if you are, that is, and if you're not, hopefully you're either thinking about signing up or in the process of signing up. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Josh to educate us a little bit more about the Capitalise platform. Thanks, Josh.
Ian, thank you so much for having us back. Traders, welcome. Excuse me. Thanks so much for joining this webinar. Really appreciate you guys coming out here today. It's going to be a fun webinar. We're going to be backtesting strategies. I'm going to show you how you can actually test any trading strategy and create that strategy in freestyle text in everyday English. We're going to be going through some great examples today. Before I get moving, just let me know that you can hear me, you can see my screen. Open up the chat box, keep it open, and any questions you have, put them on there. If you have some comments, go ahead as well, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Mark, welcome, thanks. And if you guys feel like telling me where you are in the world, it'd be great to get a picture of the audience today. So getting quite a few replies here. John, thank you. Mark from Idaho, welcome. And guys, there's a few of you that still haven't, but I'm going to take it that we've got enough traders here that can hear me, see my screen. And if, throughout this webinar, if something happens to the sound of the screen, let me know straight away on the chat. So let's go ahead, and before we get into these examples, we're actually going to be taking some examples and trying to optimize them so to get better results out of them. And I'm going to show you how easy it is on Capitalise. Marguerite, welcome. From Pennsylvania, welcome. Great, guys. So let's get moving on. What we're going to do first is we're going to do a quick presentation. We're just going to talk about some important points when you're backtesting to think about, and you want to hang around for the next part where we're going to be going through some examples here. Even you may know a lot of these points, but they're really important to keep in mind when you're automating your trading as well as backtesting. So let's give it a go here. So today we're going to be going through three important ideas here. We're going to look at what is backtesting, why do we backtest, and limitations of backtesting. We're going to discuss 3 or 4 points under each of these. We're going to look at how backtesting can be used to improve and optimize your trading strategies. And then we can look at automating the best performing strategies. And we're going to do this all in freestyle text. So understanding the limitations and benefits. In a trading strategy or investment strategy, backtesting seeks to estimate the performance of a strategy if it had been employed during a past period. It's the general method for seeing how well a strategy or model would have done ex post. Backtesting assesses the viability of a trading strategy by discovering how it would play out using historical data. And if backtesting works, traders and analysts may have the confidence to employ the strategy going forward. So let's have a look at why we backtest. Number one, through backtesting, we can test multiple strategies across multiple markets. And with that information, devise entirely new profitable trading plans. It allows us to collect massive amounts of data and information about a strategy within a short time period. Backtesting historical data allows us to witness how our plan would have theoretically performed had we been trading it live in the past. And with this information, we can objectively observe whether your trading plan would have been profitable or not in those markets. We should be able to tell within 50 to 100 tested trades whether or not a strategy is viable to use. So if my strategy has a reasonable drawdown and a satisfactory return over a large sample size of trades, then I know with confidence that it's worth my time attempting to execute this strategy on live markets. So through testing, we can determine roughly what to expect when our strategy encounters, let's say, a period of consolidation or a trending market or a reversing market, or even a high volatility period. And this can help us improve future trading decisions. And, as traders, we all need to take advantage of every opportunity to enhance and maintain our edge. So number one is to prove our strategy works. Number two is to optimize our approach. So through backtesting, we can painlessly determine whether or not a strategy is for us without losing money in the process. If we test a strategy with, let's say, 50 to 100 trades and it returned 120%, but at one time the account balance drew down, let's say 30%, then you may not want to trade it. But someone else who's, let's say, more aggressive might love a strategy like that. Or let's say you find a strategy that returned, let's say 60% and only had a 5% max drawdown. So you decide that it's not unreasonable to double your position size. Or perhaps you find a strategy that works great and you feel comfortable trading it, but you notice it doesn't perform well during, let's say, periods of consolidation. Through backtesting, we can identify its flaws. We can introduce new filters that increase its potential returns and reduce its drawdown. Number three, and then just one more after this, to create trading ideas. And, most of the strategies that I used to trade with had not formed clearly in my head. I discovered these strategies while testing other strategies. Some of those strategies worked but didn't fit my risk appetite. Other strategies didn't work, but by adjusting a few parameters, you can get a completely different result. So more importantly, backtesting is like a mirror to reality. You might have the best idea in the world, the best trading idea in the world. But if you backtest it over, let's say 50 to 100 trades and it's not profitable, chances are it's not going to suddenly start being profitable. Likewise, if you come up with a clever idea and you think it probably doesn't work, you may be surprised to find that it does. So with backtesting, you can come up with an idea, you can put it through the grinder, and whatever comes out is what you pay attention to. So this feedback loop allows you to tweak and perfect your approach until you find a set of filters, rules, or as we at Capitalise refer to, conditions that work. And lastly, most importantly, probably, why would we want to backtest? To gain confidence. So unless you're a veteran trader with many years of profitable trading under your belt, you need a backtest. Any confidence you have in your trading strategy is naive without backtesting. Until it stood the test of fire in live markets, you'd have no clue how it would perform. So if you start a strategy and let's say it loses 5 trades in a row, is it any surprise that you feel distress? Absolutely not, because you'd be mad if you didn't. If you haven't backtested your strategy and your strategy loses 5 trades in a row, then you absolutely should be concerned, because who's to say it won't lose, let's say, another 20 in a row? However, if you had backtested that strategy yourself over a large sample size and personally witnessed it endure 10 losing trades in a row and still come out profitable on the other side, then losing 5 trades in a row wouldn't bother you very much. Even though, the experience is unpleasant, you'd know full well that you have at least another 6 more losing trades to take before you should become genuinely concerned about the strategy. But the only way you'd know it was time to make changes is if you had backtested in the first place. So let's not underestimate the power of backtesting. It is boring, it is monotonous, and most traders do not like to do it. But there are elements to every job that are not fun, and if you do the job the right way, it becomes easier, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to backtest in a moment. So just hang around, guys. Great, so that's why we backtest. Let's just move on to 3 limitations that you should keep in mind whenever you're backtesting. I see some late traders getting into the room. Don't worry, guys, you're in time. We're just doing a quick presentation on backtesting, and then we're going to get into some examples of how to optimize. So welcome. Great, so we're going to look at these limitations. Very important to keep in mind when you're backtesting a strategy versus a live strategy. And the first one is data. Firstly, this requires simulating past conditions with sufficient detail, making one limitation of backtesting the need for historical data, or let's say the need for detailed historical data rather. Detailed historical data with real-time market activity, there are millions of messages flowing in from real-time prices, book depth, orders, cancellations, and more. So when performing a backtest, one needs to decide on the granularity of the data set. The more detailed it is, the higher the processing times and costs, whereas the fewer data points presents a risk of failing to realistically represent the results. And we're going to go into data as we backtest, and I'll show you what kind of data Capitalise.ai uses. And let's go ahead to the second limitation. The second limitation is market effect. It's the inability to model strategies that would affect historic prices. So when running a backtest simulation, none of our simulated actions have an effect on the markets. Thus, a backtest result cannot represent use cases in which our actions would affect market behavior. And for example, the effect of a very large short order on a specific stock or specific asset. Number 3, very important, especially when you traders are trying to optimize your strategies, is overfitting. And we run the potential of overfitting when we decide on our trading scenario and adjust its parameters. What we might inadvertently do is overfit the criteria to the data sets at hand. And a possible solution for this is to test one strategy over multiple assets, and that's what we're going to do today as well. So yeah, it's great to find a strategy that works on one asset, but you want it to work on multiple assets. Great, and we're almost done here, guys. All done really well here. So just a few rules to keep in mind when you're backtesting. Take into account the broad market trends in the time frame a given strategy was tested. So for example, if a strategy was only backtested from 99 to let's say 2000, it may not fare well in a bear market. Number 2, take into account the universe in which backtesting occurred. So for example, if a broad market system is tested with, let's say, a universe consisting of tech stocks, it may fail to do well in another sector. As a general rule, if a strategy is targeted towards a specific genre of stock, limits that strategy to that universe. Number 3 is determining optimal position sizing and money management. For example, the average gain-loss statistic combined with wins to the win-loss ratio can be useful for determining optimal position sizing. And the last one, the most important to keep in mind when you're backtesting is not always the most accurate way to gauge the effectiveness of a given trading system. Sometimes strategies that performed well in the past fail to do well in the present. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Be sure to paper trade the system after backtesting, and I'm going to show you in a couple of moments how easy it is to do that on Capitalise and ErisX. You can backtest strategy, and the moment you find it, you can start paper trading it or simulating it, is what we call it. It's very similar to paper trading, and test it that way for a couple of days afterwards. Great, so last slide. Here we're just looking at what backtesting accomplishes. It shows if a strategy performs well in periods when it is supposed to, and vice versa. It provides an understanding of how the strategy performs in different markets, and it produces insights on how the strategy might be improved on. So with that, traders, I'm going to go into Capitalise now, and for any new traders, anyone new here who needs an introduction video, I'll point you to where you can find that. But basically, with Capitalise, you can create any trading strategy, no matter what your condition is, and you can backtest it, you can simulate it, and you can automate it. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into the product demonstration. Okay, great. So traders, open up the chat box if you have any questions while we're doing this. That would be great. But let's just go ahead. So the way to get to Capitalise is once you set up your ErisX account, you can do that at erisx.com. Within your account, you'll see a button to Capitalise.ai there. So it's fairly easy. And we're just going to go ahead and click into Capitalise, and we're going to go create some trading strategies. Okay, and we're going to wait for this to come up. For anyone new here, you're just looking at our live examples page. So we have a lot of examples that you traders can look at and use. And if you need any help, traders, we're always here on the in-app chat. If you need any help creating strategies, or you have issues with strategies, you just let us know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the left-hand menu bar where you can navigate anywhere and everywhere, and we're going to go to create new strategy. And here is where you create your strategies. Whether you're going to backtest, simulate, or run live, you're going to create them here on the wizard. And the way you think of your strategy is the way you want to type it out. So we're going to go ahead and let's just see what we can get here. So let's go ahead and you know, if any traders have strategies out there that you'd want us to try, just let us know. Let me know in the chat. So we're going to go ahead and say, okay, for our first strategy, let's go and say if Bitcoin dollar, let's say current month, let's say change, okay, is, let's say positive. Let me get my syntax right, is positive. So that'll be our first condition, is that the current month change must be positive. Let's go ahead and put another condition in here. You can add as many conditions as you want. So let's say, and if BTC USD, let's say price is above BTC USD moving average. Anytime you select an indicator, you can change the parameters on the tooltip above. So for this one, we'll just go ahead and let's just say, we'll just use for this example, a 200-day close. Great. And should we put another one? Yeah, let's put another one. Let's say, and if BTC USD, let's go with an RSI now. Let's say a 1 hour this time. So you can use different time frames in one strategy. Let's say crosses below 29, so we'll make it oversold. Then buy, let's say 1,000 USD worth of BTC USD. And let's just leave the first strategy like that. So we're looking for the current month change to be positive. We're looking for the price to be above the moving average 200. And we're looking for the RSI 1 hour to cross below 29. Let's go ahead and see what results we get here. And on our exit, we're going to try our first exit. Now, when you're optimizing your strategies, you're either going to try and tweak the entry a little bit or tweak the exit. And we'll try with both, but let's go here, close position at trailing stop of, what should we put here, 3.5%. You can put any, you can exit your strategy with anything, just as with your entry. We'll just go with our first one, trailing stop. We'll change that to loop, so every time it finishes one cycle, an entry and an exit, it's going to start a new cycle. Then we're going to go ahead and click next. And that's all there is to creating our strategy. We can name the strategy here, or if you don't want to, we'll just give it a name. And here's our full trading solution. So we can backtest, we can simulate, and we can run live. If you're running live and your conditions are met, it's going to trigger off your trading accounts. Let's go ahead and backtest this strategy. And while it's getting started, you'll see here, this is our beta version. It tests for 90 days, so it's 3 months back. We're already eyeing longer backtests, time adjusted, even customizable, so we're going to be able to put fees in. But for the moment, it's just 3 months. And talking about data, one of the limitations within backtesting, Capitalise.ai uses 1 minute historical data. So you can test with any time frame. It's just the granularity of the data that we're looking at is 1 minute. So we're looking at the open, high, low, and close of each minute bar. And that's different compared with our live and our simulation strategies, which use live tick data, updated multiple times per second. So let's go have a look at this strategy. We can see it had 2 hits. Remember, hits cycle, entry and exit. So it's had 2 trades. And you can see here we got a dismal P&L there, nothing really to look at, which is great. So now we have something to work on. And just to very quickly go through this page here, this is our entry. Here's our exit that we typed out. This is our hit chart, which shows us each trade. You can move your mouse pointer over and you can see some information about the trade. And if you want time and execution price, you can find all that information on the right-hand side here. Where each trade will have an entry and exit card, and then the winning and losing ratio. So let's go ahead and try optimize the strategy. So let's go ahead and try different. In this one, we're going to optimize by just tweaking the exit. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to my control panel. I'm going to select clone, which is a simple copy and paste. It doesn't do anything to your strategy. Your strategy is, I'll show you where you can find it. And it's just so we don't have to type it out again. And then I'm going to go ahead and click next. And here, let's try for this one, close position at trailing. Let's do trailing take profit. And let's set the profit at 8%, or let's say 2%, and trailing by 2. So we'll do a trailing take profit for this one to see how it comes out. That's done, and we can back test. And traders, while this is running, you don't have to stay on the page or run on the background. So I'm just going to go straight ahead onto the control panel. I'm going to select clone, and I'm just going to create my next strategy so we can get through quite a lot of strategies. Let's see if we can better this because it was quite a dismal result. In this one, let's use a take profit and stop loss so we can try totally different ones at, let's say, profit above 10% or loss is 10%. We'll just try it out for here. Let's click next. Done. Let's backtest. And let's try one more. And we've done a stop loss. I'm going to go back to clone to create another one. We've done a stop loss, take profit, trailing stop, and trailing take profit. Now on this one, let's go ahead and just use, what should we use? What are we using in the beginning? Let's use an RSI. So let's say, okay, close position if BTC USD RSI, and we're going to go 14 1-hour close, crosses above 70. Okay, so we've got 4 different exits there. Let's see if we've bettered the strategy number 1, and then maybe we'll try run it over a group of assets. So the way I'm going to see all these strategies is on the left-hand menu bar. I'm going to go ahead to the My Strategy page, and I'm going to be able to see all these tests that I've run. Okay, let's have a look here. So, okay, so this was the first one here. This was closed position at a trailing stop of 3.5%. Got us 2 hits with negative 1.16. The trailing take profit, we actually went even worse. The BTC, the profit and loss, a little bit better, and we've managed to actually get a much better. So we've managed to, with at least this one, although it's very small hits, we're going to try go with a smaller time frame next strategy so we can get a lot of more hits on here. But this one's come out the best, and I'm not saying it's the only exit you can use. We can try, there's so many exits to use. But let's try and make sure that we haven't overfitted this exit. And the way we can do that is by testing it over other assets. And that's pretty easy. Just as we tested it with different exits, we can go ahead to the control panel of this one, which I think looks the best. And I'm going to go to clone. And any word now that appears in bold on the wizard can be changed with a click of a mouse. So BTC USD, let's say we'll go for ETH USD. Ether, so let's just change it. It's a few clicks. Make sure you have everything though. And the way you'll see it is at the bottom here, this shows all the assets in the strategy. So we know now there's still BTC USD somewhere in the strategy. So we'll just click next and there it is. And the moment we move that, you'll only see ETH USD. So we'll go ahead and click next and done. And let's back test that. And let's test it over another one as well. We'll just do one more, but you may want to test it over, a few more than that. Let's just see here. Let's go with LTC USD. One more there. Okay, we're done. And we'll just do that. We'll make sure it's just LTC at the bottom. That's great. And then we'll go ahead next and backtest. Great, so let's go have a look at how these results played out. Let's go back to the My Strategy page. And guys, you're being quiet. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them on to the chat. I'm going to go ahead here, just to my back tests. Oh, those came out even better than the than BTC USD. Okay, so we may have to test a strategy like this over a few more, but you can see it's a very small sample size. But this one here seems to work over the first 3 we tried. We may want to test it more and do some more tweaking to it, but that gives you an idea of how quickly you can test different exits, and then once you find an exit you really like, then start to test it over different assets and see how it comes out. It may be viable then, for you to look at it. Let's say, for example, actually, let's just quickly do it. Let's say, for example, we do like this strategy and we want to start testing it against real-time data. That's pretty easy. We could go ahead and say, okay, we want to take LTC. I'm going to go here and I'm just going to select clone. And once you clone the strategy again, it's a simple copy and paste. It's not going to do anything to the original. The only thing is this time I'm going to go ahead and simulate. So once I find a backtest that looks good, I want to simulate it for a couple of days to get even more confidence in it and see that it's trading the way the backtest was showing. Okay, great. So let's get on to our next strategy. Oh, guys, you know what? I've actually got a poll here. If you don't mind, I'll just quickly use it now, or just put it up now. If you can just take a couple of seconds just to fill out there. If you're what the poll question here is, what account type are you using for trading? Is it a live account, a demo account, or haven't opened an account yet? Let's see how much we got here. Okay, we got about 30% of the vote in, and we're all at the moment now, we're at 100% live accounts. So that's great. So everyone's actively trading here. Guys, I'm gonna leave it going for another maybe 10 seconds. 50% now in, still 100% live. Okay, that's great. And then we're gonna get moving on to our next strategy. And our next strategy, let's maybe try to, well, let's see what the results are, and then we'll look and see how we can tweak this. Guys, I'm gonna call that. Thank you so much, that's great. Everyone in this room is live trading, that's awesome. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and create our next strategy. Okay, so, and We're going to go to create new strategy. Something else you can do with Capitalise is you can cross-correlate indicators and assets. So maybe in this strategy, we'll use two different indicators crossing each other. So let's go ahead here and we'll use a different asset this time. Let's use Ether. So we'll go with, let's say if ETH USD, okay, let's use an RSI again. We're going to use an RSI and an SRSI. That's what we'll use. So we'll say, okay, if ETH USD RSI, and we're going to here choose a 1 hour close. Let's say crosses below ETH USD. And we're going to go with an SRSI. And here on 14.3 fast, I think we'll just change the bar period to an hour. We don't have to, you can use any time you want. But I think for the sake of getting some hits, let's see if we can get some hits there with a smaller time frame. And okay, let's leave it at that. That looks cool. And then we can say, let's say then buy 1,000 USD worth of ETH USD. Okay, so let's see what we can do here in the exit. We're going to create a few more exits now. Let's see what the best strategy is, and then let's tweak the entry afterwards to see if we can, perhaps get it better. And then we'll see if we can put it over a group, run it over a group of assets if we have time. So let's start with close position. Let's say at profit of, let's say 6% or loss is 6%. And I'm going to go ahead and click next. Done. And let's backtest this. Let's hope we get a fair sample size here. And remember, traders, while we're running this, no need to stay on the page. You can find all your backtests in the My Strategy page. So I think for the sake of time, let's just go ahead and create a few strategies here. Although I do like to see what the P&L is so we can see what we're aiming for. But let's just create a few and see what we do get out of it. So we're going to go clone again while this is running. And again, I'm just going to stick with what I had the last time. We'll use a profit and loss. And then remember, you can use anything to get out of a trade. It just depends what you traders are looking for. So here we'll just go close position. Let's say at trailing stop. Let's say of 3% this time. And done. And let's do another one. So let's clone and let's say here, let's use the, what are we doing here? We're using an RSI, so let's use an RSI here. So we'll go close position. Let's say if ETH USD, let's go RSI. And we'll use the 1 hour as we're using in the entry here. And let's say crosses above, let's take it a bit above overbought. So we'll close there. And we'll go done and we'll go back test. And let's do one more. And then let's see what we get out of this. Let's see if we manage to find, one of them will, I'm sure, be better. And then here, let's use a, what haven't we used yet? Trailing stop, profit loss, RSI, and trailing take profits. Okay. Trailing take profit. And here, let's just go with an 8% profit target with a 1% trail on there. And done. And let's go ahead and backtest the strategy. Then let's go see if which one of these actually came out better. So we'll go to the My Strategy page. And there's the one that we had set, the one of our best backtests. We had just set it to start simulating now. So that's in our live list. We can go ahead to the backtest page. Okay, so this was our first strategy here. It was the profit of 6%, and that actually ended up coming out positive at 1%. The next one was minus 5%. The RSI was crossing above 75, was 13.65% with 11 hits. And here with the trailing take profit at a target of 8% and a trail by 1%, we actually managed to get around 20%. I like that this has more hits on here, but just for this sake, let's go ahead and let's use this strategy and see if we can perhaps better it. So I'm just going to take it at this. We don't have a lot of time to just do hundreds of exits, but we'll just take the best one here, which is this, and let's go ahead and try and tweak something in the entry to maybe get a better result here. So we'll clone that strategy, and clone, remember, just a quick copy and paste. And then here, let's just add another condition in here. Oh, I took that all away, but I think I just left it the same. It was just 1 hour close. And then let's say, and if, let's see, let me get my syntax right there. And if, let's say, ETH USD, let's say if the RSI 1 hour close is below, let's say 50, then buy 1,000 USD worth. So here we took the best exit, and we've just added one more condition. So not only do we want the RSI to cross below the SRSI, but we only want to take the position if at the time the RSI is below 50 on its chart. Well, let's just go ahead here and let's just see if how this comes out. And then, if this comes out, good, then, you'd want to take this, you'd want to run this over a group of assets to check the strategy, and then you can, try to at least simulate it. So let's go ahead here to the My Strategy page. We can go, or we can just watch this strategy run. I think we had 22%. So actually, oh, that's awesome. Okay, so it actually looks like it went better there. It was 28.46. Let's just see here. We'll just go to our backtest here. Oh yeah, that's 20. So that actually went better, and we even got another hit on there as well. So this is definitely something that you'd now want to take and run over, excuse me, run over a group of assets within Capitalise. Great traders. I think we just made it in time. I've got a couple minutes left for some questions or anything like that. Let me know now on the chat box. Feel free to comment as well. So let me know if you guys have anything specific you'd like to ask. Yeah, now would be the time. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here we are. Jack's got a good question. Jack is asking if he can use Boolean types. Jack, if I'm correct, I think you're asking if you can use and or in a strategy. So that's actually an excellent question, Jack, thanks. So at the moment, no, but it's on its way. So at the moment, you can use as many ands in a sentence. However, you can't, or as many ors, however, you can't use them together. So Jack, thank you. Great question there. Let's see here. Okay. Judy, thanks for this question. Judy's asking if we can run I think what you're asking, Judy, and correct me if I'm wrong, is if you can run a single strategy over a group of assets. I think that's what you're looking to do. So traders, at the moment, it's we don't have a way other than cloning, and then just to do what I had done, just change the words quickly. It's it can take a couple of seconds at the moment. We know it's a little bit painful, and I can tell you we're already working on ways to run a single strategy over a group of assets. And yeah, we'll keep you updated with all new feature releases that come in. So thank you. Great question there, JD. Let's see, Jerome. Okay, Jerome is asking, is opening and keeping open an account free on ErisX? Jerome, that's a great question. We've got a couple moments. Oh, let me see here. Yeah, we got Ian from the ErisX team here, and he said yes.
Yeah,
so,
I can jump in there, Josh. Yeah,
sure,
it is. We don't charge any account maintenance fees. We don't charge any account opening fees. It is, you sign up via our website, erisx.com. You'll see a sign up button or open an account button, depending on which page you're on. And then, yeah, you can go through our AML KYC process and open an account, but we don't charge anything for that process, and we don't charge to keep it open.
Ian, thanks. So Jerome, yeah, thank you for your comments. You rock as well. So guys, it's free of charge, Capitalise, and it's free to open an ErisX account. And this is, the tip of the iceberg with Capitalise. There's so much more you can do. There's so much more that you can condition within strategies. You could even do candlestick patterns. I was going to go over that. However, we're going to run out of time. We only have a couple moments left, but we'll be doing another webinar on just how to automate candlestick patterns, how to build them, how to create them, and then obviously to backtest, simulate. And then, once you're comfortable and your strategy is running as you want, you'll be able to go live with some confidence there. Great, guys. I think that's all the questions that are coming through from myself and the team here at Capitalise. We really appreciate you guys coming out today. And we'll definitely see you within our next webinar. And have a great end of year holiday ahead. Ian?
No, thank you, Josh. Thanks everyone for attending. As Josh said, we'll look forward to doing another webinar in the future. If you have any specific topics, maybe it's a good thing to either send to ErisX or to Josh via the chat widget if on the Capitalise platform. So love to hear what people are doing, or not necessarily the secret sauce, but what you're looking for to learn more of.
Great, Ian. Thanks very much. Have a great evening, guys.
Thanks, everyone.